You don't notice it at first. It starts as something small, forgetting why you walked into a room. Your balance feels slightly off as you stand. Your pants feel tighter even though you're eating the same. You brush it off. I'm just tired. I just need better sleep. But something deeper is happening, something your body is trying to tell you. It's not just aging, it's accelerated aging. And while aging is natural, how fast you age is not. Because there's a difference between growing older and growing weaker. There's a difference between being in your 60s and feeling 80. And the truth is, your body is giving you early warning signs. Small, subtle, easily ignored. But if you know what to look for, if you learn how to read these signs and act on them, you can slow it down. You can take back control. Not in years from now, today. Let's start with the first sign. The one that hides in plain sight. Sign number 1, you're shrinking. Not just in posture, but in height, in muscle, in presence. Your spine feels compressed, your back arches slightly. Maybe you've lost an inch or two. You chalk it up to gravity. But it's not gravity, it's sarcopenia. The silent thief of muscle mass. After 60, you can lose up to 3–8% of your muscle every decade. And the scary part? It doesn't just affect your strength. It affects your metabolism, your balance, even your blood sugar. Muscle isn't just tissue. It's your biological reserve, your independence. And when it fades, everything else begins to decline. But here's the good news. Sarcopenia is not irreversible. In fact, with the right inputs, you can rebuild muscle even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. The key is protein and movement, together. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Directors Association found that seniors who combined resistance training with adequate protein intake gained significant lean muscle in just 12 weeks. Some of these individuals hadn't exercised in years, but their bodies responded quickly, because your biology doesn't forget how to heal. It just needs the signal. Let me tell you about Ruth. She's 76, widowed, a former piano teacher. After losing her husband, she stopped cooking. Toast and tea became her breakfast. Crackers and cheese for dinner. She didn't notice she was shrinking until her granddaughter couldn't reach her for a hug without bending down. That moment broke something open. She started adding eggs to her mornings, whey protein in her smoothie, 10 minutes of bodyweight squats against the wall. Slowly her posture changed, her energy came back. 6 months later, she was walking a mile a day. Not to burn calories, but to reclaim her place in the world. That's not just aging slower, that's aging stronger. Which brings us to the second sign. Sign number 2, brain fog. It sneaks in like a whisper. You misplace your glasses, you reread a paragraph 3 times. You feel mentally slow, not in intelligence, but in access. You know the answer, you just can't reach it. This is not just forgetfulness, it's a metabolic shift in the brain. As we age, our brain becomes less efficient at using glucose for fuel. Combine that with inflammation, poor sleep, and nutrient depletion, and the result is a clouded mind. But this fog isn't permanent, and the fix isn't complicated. In 2021, researchers at the Mayo Clinic studied seniors who added healthy fats like omega-3s from fish, walnuts, and flaxseed to their diet while reducing refined carbs. The results? Sharper memory, quicker recall, better mood in just 10 weeks. And it wasn't just what they added, it's what they removed. Highly processed grains, excess sugar, artificial sweeteners. You want to think clearly at 70? Stop feeding your brain things that confuse it. David, 68, used to read mystery novels like Breathing. Then one day, he couldn't follow the plot. He told me, "It's like my mind used to be a river. Now it's a clogged drain." We cleaned up his breakfast, no more sugary cereal, added sardines twice a week, introduced turmeric tea in the evenings. In 2 months, he said something I'll never forget. "It's not just that I remember more, I feel like myself again." Aging shouldn't feel like disappearing, it should feel like refining. Sign number 3, you feel stiff when you wake up. Not sore from activity, but sore from being still. Your joints creak, your spine resists. You rise like an old hinge instead of a rising sun. This isn't just arthritis, it's chronic, low-grade inflammation. And while everyone talks about inflammation as the root of aging, what they don't say is how you wake up fuels or fights it. One study published in Aging Cell found that seniors who fasted too long overnight beyond 14 hours, had elevated morning cortisol, higher inflammatory markers, and decreased grip strength. That means if you skip breakfast thinking you're helping your body, you might actually be triggering stress inside it. Your body isn't asking for a feast, it's asking for fuel, a reason to build instead of break down, warm water, light stretching, then a breakfast rich in protein and anti-inflammatory nutrients. Oats with walnuts and blueberries, scrambled eggs with spinach and turmeric. Even a small meal tells your cells, we're safe, we can rebuild. I remember Jane, 70, who thought her stiffness was just her new normal. We changed her morning routine, no more scrolling first thing. Just a 5-minute walk outside, a light stretch, and a warm breakfast. After 2 weeks, she told me, I got out of bed this morning and didn't even notice. That used to be a production, now it's just life. That's what this is about. Not hacking your age, but reclaiming ease. Sign number 4. Your skin is changing rapidly. It feels thinner. Bruises take longer to heal. Your arms show marks you don't remember earning. This isn't vanity. Your skin is your largest organ. It reflects what's happening inside. Collagen loss, poor hydration, slow wound healing, all signs your body is in breakdown mode. But there's a signal here too. When collagen production slows down, so does tissue repair. That's not just about skin. It's about joints, ligaments, bones. Collagen is structural, and the body can produce it if you give it the right building blocks. A double-blind, placebo-controlled study in nutrients found that seniors who took collagen peptides daily with vitamin C experienced improved skin elasticity and faster wound healing in just 8 weeks. Some even reported better joint mobility. Why? Because collagen doesn't just fill wrinkles, it fortifies you. But supplements aren't enough. You need hydration, you need zinc, you need antioxidants to protect the skin from oxidative stress. And you need sleep, because the body rebuilds at night, and that brings us to sign number 5. Sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented. You wake at 2 a.m. and can't return to rest. You feel tired at 9 a.m. and foggy by noon. Your circadian rhythm, the body's internal clock, is no longer synced, and it's not your fault. It's the years of artificial light, stress, screen time, and lack of morning sunlight. Your brain wants to rest deeply, but it doesn't know when it's safe. Melatonin production naturally declines with age, but exposure to early morning light can re-spark it. So can magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, and bananas. A randomized trial from the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences showed that seniors who took 500 milligrams of magnesium daily had significantly improved sleep quality. But the real win wasn't the magnesium, it was consistency. They built a sleep routine, no screens 2 hours before bed, a cup of chamomile, a dark room, and the body responded. Because your body wants rhythm, it's built for it. Which leads us to the 6th sign, perhaps the most ignored. You feel emotionally flat. Not depressed necessarily, but uninspired. You go through the motions, you laugh less, you care less. The spark that once lifted you through each day feels like it's gone out. This isn't weakness, this is biochemical. Inflammation doesn't just live in the joints, it lives in the brain. And chronic inflammation has been directly linked to lowered serotonin, dopamine, and motivation. In a 2019 study from the Neurobiology of Aging, seniors with higher CRP levels, an inflammatory marker, were significantly more likely to experience apathy and mood decline, even in the absence of clinical depression. But here's where hope lives. When those same participants changed their diets, less processed food, more omega-3s, green vegetables, berries, nuts, their emotional engagement returned. Not from a drug, from nourishment. That's why when someone tells me they feel numb, I don't ask about their past. I ask about their plate. Food is mood, movement is chemistry, sunlight is therapy. Laughter is medicine. And the final sign? You've stopped expecting to feel strong again. That quiet resignation, the voice that says, this is just how it is now. That is the most dangerous aging sign of all, because belief is biology. When you stop believing change is possible, you stop giving your body a reason to try. But your biology is always listening, always waiting for a signal. And the moment you stop starting your day in surrender, the moment you begin with a breath, a walk, a glass of water, a protein-rich breakfast, the signal changes. And the body responds, because no matter how long you've ignored the signs, no matter how many birthdays you've passed, you are not done. You're just behind on the rhythm. And starting tomorrow morning, you catch up. Because the truth is, your body has not given up on you. It's been waiting for you to return, to remember, to re-engage. The signs were never there to shame you. They were signals, flares in the fog. And now that you've seen them, we go deeper, not into fear, but into action. Let's talk about how to slow aging, not someday, not theoretically, but starting now with what you do next. There's a word I want you to hold on to, reclaim, because nothing you've lost is permanently gone. Strength, clarity, purpose, these aren't things that leave, they fade. And fading can be reversed, but not through willpower alone, through biology, through science, through rhythm, because the body doesn't thrive in chaos, it thrives in patterns. Wake, move, nourish, rest, rebuild. This is the rhythm of longevity. Take strength, for example. If you felt your arms weaken, your legs feel like lead, there's a reason beyond muscle loss. It's mitochondrial decline. Inside your cells are tiny engines called mitochondria. They produce energy. But after 60, they slow, especially if you're sedentary or undernourished. But studies from the Journal of Gerontology show that high-intensity interval walking, just alternating slow and brisk walking for 20 minutes, can triple mitochondrial density in older adults. You don't need to run marathons. You need to walk with intention. And nutrition? It matters even more now than it did at 30. Not just what you eat, but when. Your body becomes more insulin resistant as you age. That means sugar, even from fruit juice or toast, spikes your blood sugar harder, and your body has a harder time storing that sugar properly. What happens instead? Inflammation, fatigue, muscle loss. But if you shift your breakfast toward protein, fiber, and fat, Greek yogurt with walnuts or eggs with avocado, you stabilize your insulin, you lower inflammation, and you prime your body to build, not break. A clinical trial from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that seniors who ate 30+ grams of protein at breakfast had better muscle retention and cognitive function than those who waited until dinner to eat most of their protein. Your first meal sets the tone. And then there's hydration. So simple, so ignored. Even mild dehydration, just a 1–2% drop, can impair brain function, slow digestion, reduce blood flow to muscles. You don't feel thirsty like you used to, but your body still needs the water. I met a woman named Fran, 72, fiercely independent, former nurse. She complained of dizzy spells. Her doctor ran tests. Nothing showed up. I asked her how much water she drank. She shrugged. I don't know, I sip tea. That's all. We added 1 glass of water upon waking, 1 more at lunch, 1 with dinner. Within a week, the dizzy spells vanished. She laughed and said, "Turns out I wasn't old, I was dry." We underestimate the basics because we think solutions have to be complicated. But your biology thrives on simplicity, on consistency, on care. And part of that care is protecting your nervous system. Stress, emotional, physical, even silent, is like acid to your cells. Chronic stress raises cortisol. Cortisol breaks down muscle, impairs sleep, ages your brain. But here's what's beautiful. Your body has an off switch for stress. It's called the vagus nerve, and you can activate it naturally. Deep breathing, humming, cold exposure, laughter, gratitude journaling. In a 2022 study from Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience, seniors who practice daily slow breathing, 5 seconds in, 5 out, for 10 minutes a day showed measurable reductions in inflammatory markers and improved heart rate variability. That's not woo-woo. That's cellular repair. So tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, sit up slowly, breathe deeply, place a hand on your chest, feel the rhythm, let it slow. You are not starting your day in panic, you're starting in presence. Presence is what aging robs first. It sneaks in through the routine, the autopilot. The stories we tell ourselves, I can't do what I used to. It's too late for me. But those aren't facts, they're echoes of fatigue. And fatigue doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're underfueled. There's a man named Clarence I'll never forget. He was 81, walked with a cane, came to our clinic because he'd fallen twice in 6 months. His doctor said it was age. Clarence said, I don't buy that. He wasn't eating enough protein. He wasn't moving consistently. He was sleeping with the TV on. His nervous system never fully rested. We made 3 small changes: a protein-rich breakfast, a 10-minute walk in the morning light, and a rule: no screens after 8 p.m. 1 month later, Clarence put the cane down. Not because he trained like an athlete, because he finally listened to what his body needed. The simple, quiet needs that aging makes easy to ignore. You don't need superfoods or surgeries. You need rhythm, light, hydration, movement, protein, stillness. You need less noise and more signal. And when that signal is clear, your body begins to respond. Skin heals faster, muscles firm, joints ache less, sleep deepens. You look in the mirror, and for the first time in years, you see someone alive, not just surviving. Because aging fast doesn't happen in years, it happens in choices. The skipped meals, the sugar breakfasts, the all-night news cycles, the missing sunlight, the long stretches without movement. The belief that it's too late and slowing it down, reversing it, that happens in choices too. Choosing to get outside for 5 minutes of morning sun, choosing to stretch before breakfast, choosing water over juice, choosing protein over pastries, choosing belief over resignation. You don't have to overhaul your life. You just have to change your rhythm. One decision at a time. This is where we begin to integrate, where the scattered pieces become a blueprint, where the warnings turn into wisdom, where the body doesn't just endure aging, it begins to rise through it. Because the second you stop starting your day in chaos, the second you anchor yourself in rhythm, fuel, and care, you slow the clock. You reawaken biology. You open the door to vitality. And if that still feels far off, if the signs have been loud and the decline feels too deep to undo, stay with me. Because what happens next is where the transformation truly begins. The last sign isn't about what your body has lost. It's about what it can still gain. And that is where we go next. Everything has been pointing toward a turning moment. This moment right now. The science, the stories, the signs, they've all been leading to this crossroads. You've recognized the flickers of fatigue, the slowing down, the silent bleed of strength, memory, spirit. But recognizing is just the start. The alchemy happens when awareness meets action. Now we bring it together. Imagine waking tomorrow morning not to another day of autopilot, but to purpose. You open your eyes and take a breath. Full, deliberate, anchoring. You place your feet on the floor and feel the earth beneath you, steady and kind. No rush, no rewind, just this moment. This moment becomes the axis upon which your entire day, and perhaps every day to come, begins to pivot. Start with light. Step into the sunshine or stand by a bright window. Your cells need that signal. It tells your brain that it's day, that it's safe, that cortisol is for building, not breaking. Studies show bright morning light boosts mood, sleep quality, and even muscle metabolism. This single step aligns your biology with your intention. Then, hydrate. 30 seconds later, you feel it. Your mouth softens, your brain wakes, your cells whisper their thanks. Water is your body's simplest medicine, yet so often ignored. Just this one habit can improve energy, cognition, mobility, all the signs we discussed. Move gently. A walk, a stretch, a heel raise, a few sit-to-stands. You don't need an hour, just 5, maybe 10. This movement sets blood pumping, primes your mitochondria, mobilizes your muscles. History and science unite here, ancient wisdom and modern evidence saying the same thing. Movement is life. Then, nourish. A breakfast of protein, fats, fiber, Greek yogurt with berries, scrambled eggs and spinach, a protein shake with seeds. This meal isn't calories, it's communication. It tells your muscle, you matter. It tells your brain, you're safe. It tells your cells, build. It reverses insulin resistance, lowers inflammation, slows mitochondrial decline. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirms that morning protein is a muscle and brain savior for seniors. Rest. Later, a moment of calm. No screens after dark, deep breathing, gentle gratitude or humming to soothe your vagus nerve and lower cortisol. This reconnects your nervous system with peace, not panic. Each of these actions alone matters. Together, they form a symphony. A morning ritual that says, I am here, I am alive, I am building. You are no longer aging too fast. You are aging on purpose, and that shifts everything. Think about Mary, 78, who couldn't rise from the floor without holding a chair. 2 weeks of this rhythm, light, water, movement, protein, rest, and she stood up on her own. Felt something that had been lost. Agency. She walked to the store, cooked again, laughed louder. Think of Frank, 82, whose memory wavered like fading ink. He returned to this morning ritual. He began recalling names, stories from 40 years ago, recipes. Not because he's lucky, because his brain, like a garden, responded to sunlight, nourishment, care. These aren't miracles, they're biology. Biology that responds when given the right instructions. We modestly call these small changes, but to your heart, to your body, to your spirit, they are seismic. You've lived lifetimes already. You've built careers, raised families, weathered storms. You can rebuild now, not with invincibility, but with intention. Not with perfection, but with presence. Not because you deserve to delay aging, but because you deserve to thrive. And here's the truth. No one else can do this for you. But you don't have to do it all at once. Tomorrow morning, choose one, just one, and repeat. Slowly, decisively, with curiosity. See what shifts, because here's what I promise you. The day you begin with awareness and care, the day you breathe into your body before you rush, is the day your body starts whispering back. The day you look in the mirror and see return, not retreat, in your eyes. And in that moment, you'll know, for the first time in a while, that this life is still yours to live fully. No matter when you began writing it, the ending is still unwritten, and you get to author the best chapters yet. Let this be the day you remember who you are again. A force of love, wisdom, strength, a life with meaning, a life wide open, a life worth sharing. So, stand up tomorrow morning and be your own hero, because aging doesn't take away your story. It makes the next chapter even richer. And in that chapter, you don't just live, you lead. Every sunrise is an invitation. This one is yours. Go build it, and let your life, in every step, reflect that you never stopped.